But let's go into emulation mode. With emulation we can do some pretty cool things with the onboard GPU. We're not going to be using the external one because there's another story I just wanted to showcase with AAA games. But let's plug in, you have many of these plug and play solutions, but today we're going to be using this USB stick with the Windows 11. So let's see how that performs. Okay, there we go. Let's go. But when it comes to emulation, I think a combination with the CPU but also with the GPU we can do some really cool things. So I've been testing out all kinds of different mini PCs, from older ones secondhand but also brand new. And in the brand new market I've noticed that there's a lot of difference. I mean, particularly when it comes to, let's say, having an Amd Ryzen, that is cool, but having older, let's say, models of a GPU giving us a lot of problems, or at least when it comes to the upscaling in general. So I just wanted to check out some couple of games to see what's going on, what can we play. So I don't want to focus too much on actually, let's say, the simple games, because in Game Boy Advance can be played without any problem whatsoever. I think it's going to be N64 that are going to be interesting with some upscaling and some other things that we can do. However, let's deep dive into it and let's test a couple of systems. I'm just going to be pushing it to the maximum level. So we do need to tweak with all kinds of different emulators. Now we're using Parallel 64 with 4K rendering resolution. We're going to be playing Blast Corp with a non-emulator. We're going to be having all kinds of weird flickering. But you can see full 30 frames at the moment. And you know, we can actually play some of these games. But let's get into it and let's see if it's going to be a playable situation. But it comes to the 4K rendering resolution. We can always lower it, I just wanted to see how far we can push it. That's just fun.
Warning!
I hope this works.
I think the 780M GPU on board is more like the sweet spot. You know, when you're getting a device like this with such an, let's say, powerful GPU on board, we can do some pretty cool things. Of course, with normal gaming, we're going to be having some overall performance issue if you're going to be wanting to play AAA games. But it makes sense because normally those games were made for having a very nice, powerful GPU. But I just wanted to see what happens if you're going to be putting this on 4K rendering resolution. So it did struggle, but I think this is like an overall more like an emulator problem. Maybe not the latest Yaban Shichiro, so not hitting like full 60 FPS, but you can actually see that we do still have the GPU for only 70% usage. So in other words, I think this is more like an overall emulator problem than actually that's going to be like a performance of the hardware itself. So moving on to another Sega Saturn game. We're going to be playing Sonic R in combination with the Kronos emulator 4K rendering resolution. And you can see from the title at least, we're going to be hitting 80% of the GPU, but we do actually have 60 frames per second now. So let's get into some more gameplay.
Ready, set, go!
But with 1080p rendering resolution, now we do seems to have like an overall great performance. A weird situation, but I think this has something to do with an emulator. And I didn't see any, let's say, Yabashin Shiro 2 on here, so that is one of the things that we need to load up in a separate emulator and see if we can get yourself like some 4K rendering resolution, because that needs to be possible with this particular setup when it comes to the Amd Ryzen and the 780M GPU that's in the inside. Woohoo, I'm on the roll, I'm 4th place. There we go, there we go. Oh man, this is one of the Sonic games I really hate. Let me know in the comments what you think of Sonic R.
Fight!
If you're going to be looking into some basic emulation, this is not a problem at all. This can play most of your favorite old school games without any problem. And if you're going to be implementing any filters like a CRT filter or something else, you can do it without any problem because we do have enough power when it comes to the GPU itself. But when it comes to our PlayStation 2 emulation and 780M GPU, we can even do some 4K rendering resolution, and I think this is what I'm going to be seeing a lot. PlayStation 2, no problem, and we're going to be seeing many devices that we can just push, you know, to the maximum. Of course, we can do even more higher resolution, crazy stuff, but just keep it simple. And 4K, that is not going to be a problem. So let's get into the gameplay.
Go! How you doing out there? This is Ryzen. Welcome to Garibaldi. Goes out to my homie. Sticking it sweet. Funky dope.
But how about the emulation of PlayStation Portable? That can be quite easy. We're going to be pushing it to its maximum level. Yep, 10 times resolution. We can implement VSync if you want to, but also you can mess around with the settings, set everything to its maximum. And in this case, we're going to be have some really cool over emulation performance. Yeah, so that's going to be absolutely epic. Let's play a little bit of the Wipeout game, and let's do a quick overview. How will this actually play? It's going to be legendary. Where Xbox 360 emulation, it's not going to be something that's going to be happening on this chipset. We can actually play the PlayStation 3 emulation. So loading times, particularly when you're going to be loading up the first time, depending on the game size, will take up a little bit more time. However, with this faster GPU, CPU combination, we're going to have some overall fun experience, but yeah.
Okay, let's go!
And overall, the performance is what I already expected because of the 780M on board. The 8000 series, if it's going to be coming really cheap, then it's going to be even more interesting if you want to play some games. I think it's absolutely a party machine if it comes to just indie games, but it's not there yet when it comes to AAA gaming, of course, or just slap on an extra GPU. Thank you all for watching, consider subscribing, it would be great if you see you in the next video.